Hello and welcome back to the Willie Morgan Show. With Manchester United icon Willie Morgan, it's been a fantastic weekend for United and Celtic, Willie's two sides, as we'll come to soon. But first of all, Willie, how are you?
Well, not that well. I've had a cold. Kay, my wife had a cold a couple of weeks ago and promised she wouldn't give it to me. You know what women are like, Callum. Yeah, I've got it. So if I start coughing through all this, folks, bear with me. I've got some fresh orange juice to try and help me. But other than that, no, fine. It's just a cold. We tested for COVID. It's not COVID. So other than that, the last 2 weeks, never mind the last weekend, all my teams, Real Madrid. Yeah, I thought I'd mention that, Callum. And of course, Burnley. Unbelievable. It's fantastic. I'm so delighted for them. And of course, United and Celtic, it's just the cream on top of the cake. So it's great. It's all positive at the moment. And it's nice to sit and talk about things that are good and not have to be, oh dear, here we go again. So it was nice to see Alex get his face on the telly now that Eric's won the cup. Well done, Alex. Unbelievable. Anyway, and other than that, it's been not too bad. I was speaking to the young pro at me, Jamie. He's turned pro and he's trying to go on the circuit. I was chatting to him last night, so I've seen him on Thursday. And Jamie, I know you listen to the show. I really hope this year is going to be great. He's going to try and qualify for the Open. And I told him if he does, I'll come and caddy for him. Callum, free of charge. So anyway, I wish him all the best for this year. Sorry. And we had a surprise visitor who came yesterday and stayed. We had the day together, stayed the night. He's actually in the car on his way back to sunny Falkirk. His name's Paul Thorpe, and he is, without a doubt, everyone who's listening or watching, believe me, if you ever get a chance to go and see his show, Paul Thorpe, he's the best Elvis impersonator on the planet. He's amazing. You close your eyes, you think it's Elvis singing as well. He's just incredible. Anyway, Thorpe, I know he's got a long drive. He's only left about half an hour ago. Full of red wine. Hope you didn't get pulled. So, anyway, and other than that, no, it's, things just normal. I enjoyed the weekend, obviously, immensely. It was great. Although it was not, we were lucky as well. I mean, Newcastle could have been, 2 up, 3 up before we scored. The defence is still not the best. But at the end of the day, the result's there, and I did predict 3-1, so I was wrong again, Callum.
Still a 2-goal difference, though. You predicted we'd win by 2.
I did say that to the people when they said, yeah, you never get it right. I said, well, 2-goal difference, not too bad. Not just good. It's all good, and it's a beautiful day down here at the moment. And after the show, you know where I'll be going.
Where is that, Willie? I could never guess.
Oh, the golf's good at the moment. My grandson Alex, I tell you, he plays a +3. And playing with him is great because I watch what he's doing, and it helps. I can't play like him, obviously, but it does help. And I went out the other day and tried something he showed me. Oh, it's a kiss of death for a golfer. And I'm hitting it great. Today will be the proof. And I go back and try to do it again. I will let you know in the next podcast.
Please do.
I will. So yeah, all other than that, all good. Nobody's died, thank God. It's been a good 2 weeks.
Well, the only person I want to mention who obviously did pass away from the world of football is John Watson, famous commentator for Match of the Day and BBC Sport. He interviewed you many times over the years, commentated on your games as well. What was John like?
You know, Morty was different class. He was old school. He was like the sports writers, you know, the football writers back from those days, Bob Russell and Derek Potter, all the old guys. They were just your friends. They were pals. They weren't looking for snidey things or upset. And John Watson was just a nice guy, great commentator, obviously, great commentator, and just a very nice guy. And again, he's not that old, 77, you know, he's not that old. And Dickie Davis, Dickie gone as well. And another, I mean, he was a bit of everything, you know, he commented, as you well know. He covered all different things, but John was brilliant at his job, and sadly missed. I say, just a nice person. All the old players loved him because, you know, we mixed after the matches. You go out and have a drink together, and it was very easy. So yeah, so all his family, whoever's left, you know, we'll be thinking of you.
And in terms of the big game for United, need to get to that. Obviously, winning 2-0 at Wembley against Newcastle United. You mentioned the fact Newcastle could have went in front. Just how good was it to be able to see United lifting a trophy again for the first time in 6 years since Mourinho was in charge? That feels like centuries ago now.
Yeah, thank God he's not in charge now. Yeah, it was great. You know, we've spoke about this. I mean, in the last podcast, we said they'll beat Barcelona, they'll beat Newcastle, we can still win the league. It's wide open, the league. It's still wide open. We can still win the league. I'm still in the FA Cup. So it's just all positive. But in saying that, even though I said we beat Newcastle, yeah, they could have had a couple of goals at least in the first 20 minutes. I mean, they were all over us. But the nice thing is that when you're watching them playing now, you don't have anybody pouncing about like Pogba and bloody Ronaldo walking around, give me the ball, give me the ball. They're all working for each other. You know, somebody loses the ball. In fact, I watched Rashford making a tackle in their own 18-yard box. And that's what it means to them. They all want to win, they're all trying. And they're all playing for each other. And that's all it is. You know, there's no great team in the country. Obviously, there's no great team at all. And it just takes that little bit of luck and dedication. And he's instilled that. I mean, I don't know the guy, but I like his demeanour. He's not flashy. He doesn't try to get in somebody else's picture with a cup. You're nodding, Callum. But he's very calm, and I like what he's doing. I mean, what he's already done is brilliant, getting rid of Ronaldo and Pogba and leave Maguire out, and hopefully he'll be going, and Martial. Don't need him. It's not the end of the tunnel, but at least there's a little bit of light. I see a little bit of light there, and you know, leave him. Give him 5 years. You've got 5 years. Nothing's going to happen to you. There's 5 years. I mean, the only thing in abeyance at the moment, you know, the sale of the club. Just have to wait and see what happens there. But again,
well, funnily enough, on that, Willie, one of the Glazers, Avram Glazer, was actually at Wembley for the game, which is rare. I think it's the first game he's been at in around 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't know what football is. He thought he was at a hockey match. They haven't a clue. You know, they haven't got a clue. They don't know what it is, football. They're businessmen. And I keep saying there's nothing wrong with that. It's a business for them. Good luck to them, because they're going to make a killing. Absolute killing. But in the meantime, they nearly destroyed the club with using all the money to pay off the interest on the loan that they took out to buy it. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's crazy that they were allowed to do it. I mean, That's their prerogative, the businessmen. But the fact they were allowed to do it takes so much money out of the game. It's ridiculous. So the sooner it goes through, the better. I wish it was John McManus and
JP Magnier
and John Magnier. I wish they'd buy it back again. They'd be great to own the club again. But whatever, we'll see. I think I'd rather have Jim get it.
Jim Ratcliffe.
I'd rather have Jim get it than the Qataris. I think Saudi Arabians have pulled out, and there's only two.
Yeah, they're not in for it. Yeah.
So we'll see. It'd be nice to have someone who owns the club who's actually a football and Man United supporter, because it'll be in the interest of the club rather than just another business deal.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I hope he gets it. So.
One of the things that I was impressed with by Ten Hag when he spoke after the game was a few of the journalists were asking him about the importance of winning a cup, and rather than kind of bask in the glory of it, he said, yes, it's one cup, but we've still got a long way to go, and we need to make sure the next one doesn't take 6 years to arrive. It needs to come a lot quicker, which I quite liked.
I like as I said before, I like the fact that, just as you said, he's not flashy. He's not crowing, oh, here I am, I've won a cup. That's his job. And he's doing a great job so far. Absolutely amazing where he's got us. It's incredible. I mean, who predicted we beat Barcelona? No one. A year ago. Not in a million years. You just laugh. But as we said, well, we'll beat Barcelona. And we did. It's just all good. And he knows he's got a long way to go. He's still got people there who are rubbish. Absolute rubbish. And he's going to have to get rid of them one at a time. It's not easy unloading. And he'll want to get the best price, obviously. So he can't slag them. Just say, well, they're not popular at the moment. But they're still a good player. When you buy him. Sorry, excuse me. No, he's what I see I like. I mean, I'd never heard of him before he came, got to be honest. But what I've seen, no, just great. It's, for all United supporters, it's great just to have someone there who looks like he means he's not just there for the money and the little bit of glory and, oh, well, sack me in a couple of years and pay me off. He looks like he wants to be there for the long term, and I hope he is with what he's doing. If we have to have a coach, Callum, then he's all right.
In terms of Marcus Rashford, I mentioned it in the last show, but you talked Marcus up, even when he was going through a bad run of form, saying he's a good player, give him time and he'll come back. Another goal in the final, albeit, as we said off air, maybe a bit of a jammy goal with a deflection, but they all count.
That's what goal scorers do. He's not a scorer of great goals. He's a goal scorer. He's Jimmy Greaves. Dennis Law, he's a goal scorer. And he gets them from, hits the back of his head and goes in, or hits his heel and goes, it doesn't matter. He's a goal scorer. He's in the right place at the right time. And that's what it's an instinct. I didn't have it. What's the great place we did have it? And it's something you're born with. You can't teach anyone. Right, and keep harping back to coaches, the manager wouldn't teach you, just put the end product in. But when he was, playing him on the wing, he's not a winger. Then saying, oh, he's not that good. Well, stupid, because he was that good. And he's got a chance to be a great player, and goal scorer. Basically, he's a goal scorer. And he create for other people. He's not greedy. I'm just delighted for him. I think it's fantastic because he's taken so much stick, unjustified, by the way, in my opinion anyway, unjustified because of the way they were playing him. And then, of course, having Ronaldo, bringing him back, Jesus, poser. I've got a tree in my garden that moved more on the pitch than him. He would stand around, give me the ball, make a goal for me. No, Rashford, it's like a new lease of life for him. He is the number one striker at Old Trafford, and he knows that. And, you know, mentally, it's great for him. He doesn't have to worry, oh, we're going to play well today, they're going to slag me again, he doesn't have to worry about that. He goes out, and it just happens. And it just happens for him. And I think it's great for the lad, because I do like him. And I say he was already a very good player, and he has a chance to be a great player. And at the moment, he is a great player at the moment. Long may it continue.
The thing that you mentioned there, Willie, is about the fact that he knows now he's the number one striker at the club. When you played, you were undisputedly the starting wide player for United during your time at the club. How much confidence does that give you as a player when you know you've got that full backing?
Well, unlike Marcus Rashford, I was never in a position where I had to prove myself. You know, I was started on the right wing and was on the right wing forever. And Matt bought me to go on the right wing, as we know. Never in question. I know it sounds dreadful. I had never any confidence problems. I mean, I couldn't wait to go out and show off. Saturday afternoon was glorious. You know, playing in front of 63,500 supporters was a dream. And doing what you do naturally. You know, people say, oh, you have to teach people how to beat. I said, I don't know how I'm going to beat people. There's no plan. You know, you just reacted to whoever was coming at you. And so, you know, like a coach, back to coaching, teach someone how to beat someone. You can't. You either have it or you haven't. It's like goal scorers. You can't teach Jimmy Greaves to be in the right place in the box all the time. Can't teach that. You either have it or you don't. So I never had the problem that Marcus had of never having confidence. I mean, I had it forever. So, but for him, yes, it is. And the fact that he's come through it, because he could have gone. You know, at some stage they want to get rid of him. And then you got all these jokers, coaches again, playing him out of position. And in fairness, and I've said it before, same with Martial. I'm not a great lover of him, but he's playing in the left wing. He's not a left winger, the lad. He's a striker. But they play in the left wing. Then slag him for not. Can't do that. You have to play the person in the position that the best at what they're good at, the best at. I know a lot of people these days, when you ask, where do you play? Oh, anywhere. Really? That's good. That's a coach's dream. He plays anywhere. Okay, I don't think so. But for Rashford, I can't tell you how happy. Not just me. All the lads I talk to all the time. Because I used to say to them, you know, you got to give a lad a chance. You got to play him up front. Why? You know, I've got Ronaldo. I said, but Ronaldo's not doing it. And Rashford was doing it before he came. And it's only because of him that he's playing out of position, sometimes not even playing. So they've killed his confidence, the lad. But it's back. Long may it continue.
In terms of another player who's got his confidence back is David De Gea. He just broke the record of clean sheets that was previously held by Alex Stepney, then Peter Schmeichel. Before we talk about him, you played with Alex Stepney. We've had him on the show. How important is it to know you've got a steady goalkeeper behind you whenever you're playing for a club such as United?
Well, Alex wasn't steady. Alex was great. Alex was a great goalie. You know, and I keep going back to the great goalkeepers of my Gordon Banks, Alex, Pat Jennings. No gloves. Cold, bare hands in the middle of winter. And a ball that weighed a ton. I mean, if they were playing now, they would play to their 100. They really would. With all the bloody, I mean, the gloves are bigger than the bloody goalpost. It's Alex was a great goalie. You never had to think about it. And the same when I started at Burnley, goalkeeper was Adam Blacklaw from Aberdeen. He was Adam, and again, no, he was the rock. You didn't have to think about it. And it is obviously it's very important to have a good goalie. And to hear he was playing, and it's still not, excuse me, still not perfect. But the last 3-4, the worst defence the worst team in the country. Never mind the worst defence. They're dreadful. He had no chance. They were like, it was like standing in the firing line. You know, standing with blindfold on. All the bullets coming at you. What you going to do? And then people say, it's like, oh, well, at least now there's a bit of stability in front of him. I'm sure he sleeps at night knowing that Maguire's not going to be playing in front of him. I'm sure he gets lots of sleep now. I bet he didn't sleep before. And that does help, though. He knows that they're not just going to walk through and you know. So, but he was always a very good goalkeeper. Not in the league, same league as Schmeichel or Stepney or Banks, or for me, because over the years he makes so many stops with his knee or his ankle or his knee. Where if you watch the old great goalkeepers, and they used to catch the ball, none of that flapping. I watched one the other day. Nobody near him, and it came in, and he's flicking it away. He's a manager. He wouldn't be in my goals, I can assure you. They're pathetic, some of them. So, and then, you know, Schmeichel, again, come back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel was fantastic. He was just a great goalkeeper. He was this era, and with the big gloves and that, but he would have been a great goalkeeper back in the 60s, 70s. He was still being great. He was very special. So, but Alex Stepney, you know, he was great. He was unfortunate that Gordon Banks was around. You know, Gordon was arguably one of the 2 or 3 greatest of all time. And,
arguably made one of the best saves of all time as well against Pele.
Pele, yeah. Oh, Alex Stepney made a save like that against Eusebio in the European Cup final. See, people forget that. They forget all the things. No, they were great goalkeepers. They were very... And just playing with the people that I played with, I wouldn't change. I keep saying, I'd love to play in the pitches. The pitches, my God, Callum. It's a dream. The pitch is unbelievable. All the POV. Imagine me and Bestie and Dennis and Bobby on them pitches. Oh, what a dream. But no, I'm glad I played with the players that I played with in my years.
We've got a fair few questions. First one is from Chris. What was your opinion of Sir Bobby Robson? It would have been his 90th birthday last week.
Class act. Number 1 class act. He great manager. I mean, when I first started playing, it was at Ipswich back then. And in fact, I've got a photograph of George and I going around the pitch. Oh, going out the mud pie. Walking out at the beginning of the match. And of course, Bobby was the manager back then. Oh, he great manager. Class. And a nice man. Again, you know, the people, you go back to the managers were slightly different. He was a great guy. In fact, I played in his golf classic last year, the Bobby Robson Golf Classic here at the Mere. And I know they still do out in Portugal, the Bobby Robson. That's how much he was revered. Just a great person, Chris. You'd have loved him. You'd have loved him.
Next question it comes from Graham. Do you think Klopp will leave Liverpool at the end of the season?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know he was still there. It's just, I've not heard him for a while. Is he still there? you know, what he did was great. And by the way, I like him. I've got to tell you, I like him. As coaches go, I like him. I'd play for him, without a doubt. I hope he goes, because they'll end up with a load of rubbish, and they'll continue to be a load of rubbish. I mean, it's gone wrong for them. It's not his fault. They play with 10 men every week. Is Henderson still playing?
Still captain.
Play with 10 men. And the only criticism of Klopp, like I said, why does he play this guy? It's a myth. He must have, I don't know. He must have blind spots somehow. Play with 10 men. So what he did, play with 10 men, he's done very well. I don't know. I think he'll go. I think he'll end up somewhere like Chelsea or somewhere.
That's certainly going to be an interesting one. Sean asks, did you get a chance to watch any of the Celtic game at the weekend? How pleased were you to see them win another cup?
Sean, how pleased? That's an understatement. There's about 10 bottles of red wine empty there. That's how good it was. And no, I didn't. I was watching the United game, and I was over at my daughter's house, and they had some people around, so I couldn't watch the Celtic game. But it's fantastic. It's fantastic. You're frightened to death. I was frightened to put the telly on to see what the score was. If it's 2-0, I thought, it could be 4 or 5-0. And 2-1, oh my God. I didn't see the game, but obviously I was watching the score. No, it's great. Sean, unbelievable. It's funny, Sean. I was just talking to a guy yesterday, a great friend of mine, Tony Christie. You remember? Show me the way to heaven. And his son's called Sean as well. So it's not you, is it?
There you go.
Yeah, I was talking to Tony yesterday. So, yeah, delighted, Sean. Long may it continue.
Last question we've got this week's not really football related. It's about Sean Connery, of all people. Mark asks, what was Sean Connery like? And surely you agree he's the best James Bond of all time.
Never been in question, has it, Mark? Of course he is. There's only one James Bond. All the rest of them, imposters, absolute imposters. It's only Sean. And what was he like? Good golfer, great golfer. You know, he lived down in Marbella for long, down in San Pedro actually, for a long, long time. And he was a bit fiery and a great guy. He's just, you know, in Edinburgh lad, he's just an ordinary guy. I mean, if you're not in that circle, of course it's James Bond, but he wasn't like that. He was a super guy, and he was friendly with Sean, but very friendly with his son Jason. Jason and I were great friends. And then, of course, Sean left and went out to Barbados to live for the last few years of his life. But no, super nice guy. Big Scotland fan. I'm sure he was in the Tartan Army. He must have been in the Tartan Army, Sean. But no, a great guy. Mark, you would have loved him. Absolutely different class. And yeah, there's only one James Bond. Only ever been one. And it'll be him.
Totally agree with you. For me, he is the ultimate Bond. And you know, he's the original Bond, and for me, he'll always have that title, no matter whoever plays the character.
He used to throw his golf clubs, Mark, I must tell you. But he threw it with a fade, his driver, when he hit a bad drive. I threw mine with a draw, so I always got a little bit further than him. When I hit a bad drive, I threw mine. He used to throw his clubs. Who
would win that round of golf, Willie? Would it be you or Sean?
We actually played together. We played together. Well, and you know, diversing just slightly. In fact, we were talking about it yesterday. So what was your best four ball? Well, there'd been loads. loads, but one of them was down in Marbella at Las Brisas. I played with James Hunt, Bobby Moore, and Bruce Forsyth. That was a 4-ball. And I think I've told the story before, but it is remarkable. So I turned up, and Jimmy's got an Alsatian with him, a dog. He was called Oscar, by the way, Mark, James Hunt's dog. And I said, oh, Jesus, you're not going to leave, it's boiling, you're not going to leave him in the car all, 4 or 5 hours. Oh, no, I said, he walks around with us, Willie. You're not taking the dog in the golf course. He'd be bark. He said, no, he doesn't bark. And Mark, the dog sat, we all drew, and Jimmy, come on, Oscar. And he walked beside him, stopped when he's playing the next shot, never barked once in the whole round. Never heard him. I've never had anything like since, by the way. But that was James Hunt as well. And of course, Sean played down there. That was his mob as well, down there. So good times, and yeah, sadly missed. Connery, sadly missed. Yeah, great Scotland supporter.
Again, great questions from the listeners as always. Thanks for getting them in. Make sure you do for the next show as well. But before we go, Willie, your usual message to the listeners?
Well, as always, wherever you are in the world, take care of yourself, be nice to each other, and may your God go with you.
Until next time, take care.